Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Another episode for you, episode 70 of GhettoRig. We got some stuff for you guys here this week. We'll have a guest joining us up in here in a little bit. But for the first about hour or so, it'll just be us. But then we'll have her join later. Well, I'll have Jay explain a little bit better on who she is. But yeah, how you guys doing today?
I can tell you we're going international. That's what I'm saying.
We're
We're
going
going international
Mr.
on this
Worldwide.
one.
Mr.
Yeah, it's
Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. You're going international this one.
What's up, bro?
So I did go on down this gigantic ass rabbit hole the other day, actually yesterday. And besides that, there's a couple of new things. I have a complaint.
Go for it.
I didn't realize how much the prices went up on everything
Yeah.
until
So like
I know gas is really high right now.
We've talked about this before, right? Like for anecdotal, right? So I'm only 22 years old, right? So like for me, I only noticed like maybe when gas fluctuates, right? And so it wasn't only until like after COVID and during COVID that I noticed like, damn, it's not just gas that's changed price. It's like food, technology, everything went up in price, and it was weird for me to see that because it's never happened in my lifetime.
So I'm
That
gonna
I
have you
noticed,
guys
right?
guess. I'm gonna have you guys guess. But before I guess, I'm gonna say this. And I think like every person has that one item that they see and they're like, holy fuck, this is expensive. And after that, they're like, yeah, prices did go up. Every person has that price. That specific item. And for me, that specific item was a fucking light switch with a dimmer on it.
Yeah.
A light switch with a dimmer on it is $20. One light switch with one dimmer
Yeah.
is $20. If you're redoing an entire home, bro, like you're looking at $400-500 just in light switches. Makes no sense, right? But anyway, talking about this prices being up, what do you think right now? What car can you buy that is under $20,000 that's fully loaded?
None.
You still buy one. You still buy one.
Maybe a Toyota Corolla, like
A
not
car?
decked out
A
or
car.
anything. Not decked out.
Fully loaded?
Yes.
Under 20,000?
Yeah.
I don't know any
What's
car.
your definition of fully loaded though?
What is
Well,
this? The
I
car
mean-
that you got to put together from China yourself?
No,
Like
it's a Mitsubishi Mirage, I think.
Oh, the
It's
Mirage?
the only one left that you can buy under $20,000, brand new.
They still make that car brand new? That's my question.
I guess
Yeah,
it's a
damn.
little tiny car.
Yeah, I know
What
what
is
car
it
it is.
made out
Four-door-
of Legos?
I don't fucking know,
I don't
man.
understand.
Spit and paper. I don't know what it's made of, but it's $20,000, and that's the only car that right now you can buy for under $20,000. It's like $19,995 or some shit like that. So that's basically where we at. And then gas prices did go up to 4.5. You know, there were 2.5. About a year ago? Now they're back to 4.5.
One of the things that I realized that really made it apparent to me that things went up in price was things that I already owned. Like, for example, I was looking at, I'm really into technology, right? So I'm constantly looking at stuff for the podcast setup, for my setup and shit like that, right? And seeing the prices of certain pieces of technology that I already own go up in price and drastically. Like, for example, those headphones you have on your head, right? That I bought them for $180, right? When they were on sale through drop.com. Right now, after I bought them, COVID and all that shit was actually happening, but it was when it was during COVID, and then the prices went up.
Mm-hmm.
They went up to over at a certain point over $300.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, and then they would go on sale for like $280, $270, and the cheapest you'd see them was like $230, $220 on like the biggest sale they would have. When they were originally came out, were $200. When I bought them, they were $220, and I got them on the sale for $180 or whatever. But yeah, right now like the price is sitting around like $280, $300 for those headphones, and then like things like that Rode amp right there, I bought it for $90. At a certain point when I was looking during COVID, it was at $200.
So, not even that long ago, between November and now, last year, not even a year ago, right? 8-9 months. The interest rates on vehicles have gone up. Guess how much? What's the average interest rate right now in United States for somebody that's buying a vehicle?
I have
Guess.
no idea due to the fact that I haven't had to look into buying a vehicle.
11 fucking percent.
11 average.
11% is the average interest rate. If you have,
And look,
amazing credit, I'm talking 850 with like history, you're still paying 9.5%.
and you know,
on a brand new vehicle.
it's crazy. So I remember, I don't care. These people can get mad if they want to get mad. When I bought my car, it was the same time around like this within a year or two when Emily bought her first car.
Yeah.
When Kevin bought their first car, their parents have immaculate credit, right? So they went through credit unions and got like, bro, like around 2%.
2%, 2.5, 3 maximum.
Yeah, it was like, I think one of theirs, I don't know which one. One of them was like 1.8, 1.7, and one of them had like a 2.3,
Yeah,
2.4, right? Like they're crazy.
I'm listening. I'm just gonna.
My father
load
doesn't have as good credit as did, but still has great
credit. Yeah,
really good credit, right? So like to put into perspectives, like they're over the 800s, he's not, right, kind of thing, or at that time he wasn't, and I went through going through the credit union that the dealer provided. Really shitty thing to do. That's like the worst option. Right?
Yeah, it is worst option.
So I did the worst option, and I got what I thought was a horrible rate at 7%. And at that time, it was a horrible rate.
Yeah.
But then you look at it now, and it's like, oh, 7%? I had a deal at the time.
Yeah,
compared to now.
Compared to
so
now.
for you to tell me 11%, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, 11. It's damn near like a credit card, bro. Like credit card, like
It's
a little bit more. It's
range.
credit card range.
Yeah,
you know
it is. It is getting that range, right? Because like my credit cards when I started off, which is someone that was, like I said, starting off, first two credit cards are in like the 25% range. And so I would assume when someone that has really good credit, it's probably going to be between like the 18 to like 13% range.
No, not really. It's you're still
in the 20s.
Yeah, the credit cards just keep a high interest rate no matter what.
I've noticed that.
You can negotiate that back a little bit, but it's just gonna keep it at that and just
But like you can. I've seen people tell me about cards like 14 to 18% range. That's not like unheard of, right?
As far as the credit cards go, like I would always suggest not to even get into that debt. Like that personal debt is terrible. Don't even do that. Because you're just literally giving a lot of money away. Like you don't realize how much money you're giving away. Like the difference between the difference between, let's say talk about a home, right? Difference between you buying a home at let's say 4% versus at 7% is like damn near $2,000 a month. That's a huge dip. Like that's a lot of fucking money, depending on the house, right?
Right.
On the type of the house, the type of the mortgage you have. Like, let's say if the house would have cost you $3,500, like now it's gonna cost you around $5,500.
Right.
That's a lot of money you're giving away to interest.
Right.
It's not going to the house. It's just you're giving it to the bank for lending you the money, right?
Yeah.
Which is a lot. So, I don't know, man. I would not suggest getting into any kind of credit card debt because that's even higher. Because we're talking about 7% now, double that,
Well, triple that, really.
Triple that. But, so those were my. Now, this song.
Oh, the song.
Been trending.
Oh, so we played the song before stream. We won't be able to play it on. I mean, I've seen other streams playing it because I don't think he's monetized in any kind of way or copyrighted.
And you have to also kind of like do like a 5-second snip, so you gotta like pause it after 5 seconds.
Do a 5-second snip or go on a chorus,
and then you gotta wait like 10 seconds. Or something
so
like that.
I don't know.
Play the chorus.
But this is the thing, though. I think with this specific song, we're not gonna take the risk. But I think with this specific song, you're allowed to play it due to the fact that he has no record deals. He has no nothing. He's literally just putting out this music on his own kind of thing. It's not copyrighted or patented in any kind of way.
10 seconds you can do. 10 seconds is the.
What we can do. It's funny. We've been talking for a little minute now. I don't have nothing up for us here when it comes to stream. I don't know if anybody's here or what. Could we be talking to ourselves?
Natalie.
Oh no,
Natalie came in and she said that they tried to get her with 11% because it was her first personal loan, regardless of her credit history.
You're allowed to play it due to the fact that he has no record.
She said she went to the dealership and they got her down to 7.11%.
Yeah, Natalie. Like that's true. Like they'll try to get you in the dealership. You kind of like negotiate down because like the person that's financing your car is also getting a deal out of it, right? Like the best is actually go to your bank, obtain the cheapest amount of loan that you can. It's usually credit union that's going to give you the cheapest loans anyway, usually. But that's the best way to go about it. Or you just go to the dealership and say, hey, listen, run it through my credit union. I got an amazing score. I'm not taking less than that. Just either finance it here. You make a little bit of commission you can make. Yeah. Or you can go to the bank and get that done by tomorrow.
Right. You gotta play your cards and correctly.
Yeah.
So real quick before we go into the song, actually, two things. Guys, make sure to hit like. We'd love for you guys to comment and be interactive with us. You guys have no idea the amount of work we all put into this, and we'd really appreciate you guys to just like.
Especially Eddie. The past couple of days, he's been rearranging the entire studio. Literally putting computers back together from scratch.
So, yeah, like I said, we put in a lot of work, guys. Really appreciate you could like, comment with us. We like the interaction in the chat. Another thing, We haven't shout out one of our official sponsors in a while, Vitality Recovery and Wellness Center. If you guys are in the area, make sure to pop by. You guys, shout out Emily, Ozzy, Kieran, all those guys working there doing a great job. Regardless if you're someone who's physically active or not, you could definitely benefit from a visit to Vitality.
Shout out to
Take a
Trident Cryo for
Shout out
bringing the
Trident
cryo machine and whatnot.
Dyer and all those guys over there. Okay, so this song went viral recently. This guy, his name is actually Christopher Anthony, but he goes under the alias of like Oliver Anthony because of his grandpa. I read a little bit about this guy, and so this song is going viral right now. He's blowing up. This guy, I think he's from North Carolina or something like this.
Virginia.
Right, one of those states.
One of the northern states. One of the northern East Coast states.
So this guy's going famous, going big, and he actually made a post the other day talking about like how people have already record companies have already reached out to him to make deals and stuff like that, and he's turned them down. That he has no intention of making music full time. This is just something he wanted to do and didn't expect to go big, and it's still not. Seems like he doesn't really want to devote himself to this when it's not something he just wants to put out there. From like a place of, like he said, a lot of mental illness and bad mind state and hard times kind of thing, just spread that and not really doesn't want to gain from it kind of thing, right? Just spread love in a sense. That's what he kind of put out there. Now I've heard there's a little bit of stuff going around against this guy. I'm not sure what too much goes into that though. If you guys haven't heard the song, great song. It's called Rich Men North of Richmond. So great song. You wanted to talk about this,
Yeah.
Jay. What did you have to say?
Great song, very catchy. I have it on my album, and I do have it on
You have
there,
it on
and
your
I
album?
listen
You
to
said
it.
you have it on your album?
Like playlist, you mean?
Playlist.
Okay, I thought you dropped a...
You dropped an album.
Yeah. It's my new first hip hop album. Now I have it, but the one thing that everybody that I saw the comments and was like, "Oh my God, he's saying the things that we want to say, but we don't say it." Yeah, that's so relatable. Blah 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 blah. In my head is, whose fault is it that you broke? That you crying under a tree with your guitar? Whose fault is it?
I mean,
is the dollar being taxed to no hell? What, like he says, yes, it is. Is there a lot of people that work in fucking shitty jobs, getting paid shitty pay? Yes. That's life.
that's what he's shedding light to, is the things that even though when you're
but
working hard and going for.
Who doesn't know that? And everybody
But
out
it's
there
not-
like, yes,
I don't-
yes, he's bringing
so,
light to this.
I don't-
No, bitch, we
I
knew
don't,
that.
I don't look at it as like I didn't think of it as he's bringing light to it. I thought it was just a great song that it seemed like it was relatable to a lot of people, and that's what people are attaching
that's
to.
That's my thing. It's relatable to a lot of people. But like my question is, whose fault is it that you're broke? It's definitely not. It's definitely not like your fault. It's not like if I was broke, would that be your fault that I'm broke? No. Would it be? Is it the government's fault that you're broke because they're taxing like that? They're taxing everybody like that.
Partially.
It's not just you. They're taxing literally everyone like that. So if they tax you less, they gotta tax the other person less. So now the other person that wasn't broke, not even richer, were you not broke? Now you're still broke. Do you see what I'm saying?
I feel like you put too much thought in what people were talking about. With
Nah,
this song,
all
man.
I'm saying is a great song. It's shedding light onto some of the unfairness, I guess, in life. But we all know that this unfairness exists. It's not like something it's new. And then all I'm trying to say is, like, instead of making a song how broke you are, or because obviously for him it's a little different, right? Like, but a lot of people took this song to heart and saying, well, this talks to me because it kind of sounds like my life. So instead of the song talking to you, get off your fucking ass and do something about it so you're not broke. And listen to this song on the way to work. Let this song fire you up so you get more money. That's all I'm trying to say.
From what it seems, the song did do that for a lot of people. He made a post talking about how, like he's been overwhelmed with like the amount of people reaching out to him and talking about the song and stuff like that. Like something about like 50,000 emails and texts and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, the only one message that I liked on there was like, how like fat people are, using the welfare, blah, 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 blah. It is true. Like, it's still shedding some light on it where other people are broke. Like, but that's the whole thing, right? Like, if you're broke, you're broke. you gotta do something about it. Like by listening to the song and saying yes, the song is right, is not gonna help you.
So Alex was saying that some people, it seemed like they had an issue where he went in on people on welfare. People see it as a dog whistle. I don't understand that reference. What does it mean by a dog whistle?
I'm guessing he means like he's like bringing because a lot of Republicans like it because they're saying that welfare is bad because we pay too much money to welfare, like
Got
they're
you.
living
Yeah,
off
yeah,
our
yeah.
taxes and this and
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I think that's what he's referring to. But I don't think he's talking about the welfare. The welfare that he was talking about is fat people using welfare, where the like the other ones. And I don't know if you got the.
I mean, I think you guys are on the same.
Yeah, I'll
reference.
find-
I think you guys are on the same reference kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll find the actual I'll find the actual words where he's talking about the welfare.
Catchy song, catchy, really relatable song for a lot of people. I would assume. I can see why it blew up.
You see,
I like
because
you
your
guys-
dollar ain't shit and it's taxed to no end because of Richmond, north of Richmond. Now he's talking about north of Richmond. Obviously, he's talking about Richmond, Virginia. North of Richmond, Virginia is D.C., Washington D.C. Because of rich men that live in Washington D.C., your dollar is getting taxed, right? Okay. Lord, we got folks on the street ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare.
Have you?
That's what he talked about, welfare. Obese milking the welfare.
Right.
So I don't know how much of it is a dog whistle saying that the people are milking
think-
the welfare.
I think he's making a reference across the board there of people on welfare, just kind of thing, like, and then making the reference of obese people, I guess. But it's like in general, I see the people on welfare he's going at. You can see how it's looked at in that way.
Yeah, I mean, they
Did you
could
listen?
be.
Did
I
you
mean,
listen to any of his other songs?
Yeah, I've listened to. Some
I
of
love
the songs.
the rawness to it.
Yeah,
right. Like
it's
it's,
got that raw voice, and as I said, it's a great song.
And listening to the guitar in the background, it's like super raw. Like you can tell he's just playing that directly into a microphone.
Yeah.
And also you can tell he's doing it. He's actually recording it outside because you can hear the crickets and shit.
Yeah.
Like you can. It's like I enjoyed that section as well. Like how raw all the
Put it
music
together.
was. Yeah.
No, as I said, it's a good song. It's a great song to listen to. But for me to feel bad for someone that has no money and their dollar is getting taxed and now they're broke, or somebody's on welfare or somebody's on the street
He's
not
just
eating.
He's just
like-
expressing things that we all share.
Well, that's true. But then we all share other things as well. Why don't we express that? Because
Well,
It's
that's
not
the things
sexy,
that
right?
Well, it's not that it's not sexy. It's just that things that when things affect you, see that they affect you in some kind of way in your life deeply, and then someone else is talking about it. It's very relatable, and it hits you in a certain kind of way.
that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. Because a lot of people
That's
sit
why
there
it's
and
so
for a
big.
while feel that way. That like the dollar is being taxed. I make shit money. It's being taxed. I have no money. Now I have to be on welfare or be on a street, not have food. Like I get that, but whose fault is it?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
You can't just constantly blame the fucking system for this being system's fault. Like at some point you have to say, well, the system is unfair. It's unfair. We've already established that.
You also have to take it that it's a song, so it's meant for entertainment,
Yeah, no, I know. I
right?
get
It's
it.
not
I
like this
get
guy's
it.
doing
I
a
get it.
speech.
The
right?
reason
and
I'm
putting
saying
and
this-
putting it in these words into literal sense, which I think we've examined the song to a point where we're now taking things a little too literal.
Well, no, I agree with you. But the reason I'm saying this is because the reason I'm not because of the song, but it's because of the comments
I get what you're saying.
that people, because there was like an overlay of the song onto the comments, and people with the comments were saying that, oh, he's saying a lot of things that we want to say,
You
but
also
we're
have-
not saying. You know what I mean? Like they're talking about this.
That overlay is cool as fuck, by the way, that they've been doing, where you're watching videos and like the comments that have a lot of traction or like pop up on the bottom of the video. That shit is cool as fuck because it's like a little commentary kind of.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of the video, you see someone's like badass,
Yeah.
stupid, funny, like pun line or something like
No,
that.
when I'm saying overlay, I mean
That
like
shit is really engaging.
they're like on this side they'll play his music, and on this side people that are watching his music
okay.
react to it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And their reactions were exactly that. Oh, he's saying a lot of things that all of us want to say, but we don't. We don't have the courage to say it, but he's saying it. Like things like that. But overall, I don't think it's. The message should be, I think, a little bit better.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, no, it's a good song. It's a catchy ass song.
I thought the song was great. I don't know. What did you think, Miggy?
I like the song. I mean, it was the beat sounded good. The lyrics, yeah, they were relatable. I mean,
Yeah, no, it's a catchy ass song, and I understand why is it relatable, and I understand why it's catchy, and I get it. You know, I get that. I get that the system is rigged, but you know, every day blaming the system being rigged, it like you gotta stand up on your 2 feet and say fuck it, enough is enough. I understand the system is rigged, but I gotta do something. Let me do the maximum that I can do, and then you gotta be. You know how fucking unlucky you have to be in life that you've tried to do absolutely fucking everything in your power and you still are fucking in terrible situation. You know how fucking unlucky you have to be.
Surprisingly, I feel like there's a lot of people in that situation.
Yeah, because a lot of people, it could be drugs, because they don't want to get clean, because they have an issue. It could be. I'm saying it could be drugs.
No, I'm saying like just situational. Growing up, like if you're someone who grew up in poverty,
Yeah.
right? Like there's a lot of things blocking you, that are your hurdles are a lot larger,
Yes, they are.
and there's maybe double the amount.
No one is saying that you're gonna become a billionaire or a
Yeah.
millionaire, but can you make decent amount of money? Can you pull yourself by your bootstraps? Meaning not be a millionaire and billionaire, but be somewhere, I don't know, in maybe like the top 20% of United States. Is that possible? Making $80,000 a year, that's possible coming in from poverty. It's possible to make 60,000. Median household income in the United States is about $60,000. Household income $60,000. Men make, depending what state you're looking at, but average is 45 or something like that. Look, you can get
What do
there.
you? So I heard Joe Rogan in I forgot who it was the other day talking about, like, they were saying that there's something about a lot of these successful people that a lot of them come from shitty situations.
Yes.
And he says though, like he's like basically talking about like, I wouldn't take that away from my life because I know that's what made me
Yes.
who I am, but I would never want that for my kids. And
Yes.
isn't that something weird, right?
Yes.
Like you know that what makes you great was shitty.
Yes.
But
100%.
But you'll never put your kids in that shit.
Because you don't want them to go through that shit.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like, you know, this and the statistics there. First generation, second generation, your kids, 70% chance that they're gonna blow your fucking money. There's only 30% chance that they're gonna take your money and make something out of it. And then the second generation, the
You're
ones that
absolutely right. Any number of things can cause you to be in poverty beyond your control, right?
I understand that.
Yeah.
And those are the
Move
things
on,
that
move
you
on.
cannot
Just
control.
answering his
Yeah, no,
his comment.
those are things that you can't control, but there are things that you can control.
Yeah.
And those are the things that I'm talking about. The ones that you can
And
control.
if you have more things against you, you just you need to focus harder and harder on the things you
on
can
things
control.
you can't control. Exactly my point. But what I'm trying to say is, you know, that whole thing of like, well, Elon Musk got his money or Donald Trump got his money. Great, but there's a 70% chance that they're not going to make it. 70% chance that they're not going to make it.
Yeah, but that 30% chance is a lot larger than the chance that people that don't come from money are to make it.
But then you kind of have to look at it. So if there's a 70% chance that you're not going to make it, so out of all those rich people, if you take that statistically and say, okay, well, 70% is not going to make it. There's only 30%. But we always constantly have a supply of rich people that are coming in. That means that new 70%, right, is people that came from nothing.
I feel like there's probably a little more of a breakdown on that.
No, there's probably, but we're taking a little more raw these numbers, right? Like, I'm just thinking logically, you know.
Right,
like,
right.
This is what it is. But what I'm trying to say,
I get where you're
people
I
that
get
pull
how you're
themselves from
coordinating it, yeah.
bootstraps and becoming rich are coming from shitty situations. Not all of them have that. Have they been lucky in the right place, right time? Yes, there is that. There's the shit out of your fucking control. But my point is, if there's something under control, do you maximum you can, and then life will show you it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's not. There's nothing you can do, right? So that's my point. Anyway, that's why the song was, to me, is like, it was not the song. It was more the fucking commentary that people were saying that got to me. Is like, well, guys, like, this is a terrible message. Like, he's got a good message. He's shedding light on a situation that the shit's corrupt and it's bad. But why add more fuel to the fucking fire? Why don't we sit down and say, stop playing this victim card. Let's do something about it. But anyway, that's besides the point. All right, so let me talk about this shit that took me down this fucking rabbit hole.
Oh shit! Real quick, you guys like our new paintings?
Yeah.
You guys like the non-blank
I like
space
this one
here?
a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I end that one, actually. That's the iconic Muhammad Ali's.
That shit's insane.
Yeah.
I think that's one of those things that for me, That picture, I don't think will lose time ever.
Yeah.
There's
That photographer, bro.
that right, like that picture will never be out of time. I think right, like it's always gonna be a big famous icon of like greatness, greatness.
So, so I was listening to this podcast, and I forget the guy's name.
This motherfucker got notes.
And I forget the guy's name, and he was talking, and he was an African American dude, and he was complaining about the Democrats, and he was obviously a Republican, because he was complaining about Democrats and liberals, and he was saying how most of the liberals don't like to have a conversation, to sit down and have a debate, and he also said that, and then during the conversation came out that Destiny, who is a big YouTuber, is the only liberal person that will sit down and have a conversation with Republicans about anything, right? Anyway, this guy said something about slavery, and I was like, wait, that can't be fucking right. That makes no sense. He said that there were African Americans that existed on a continent of North and South Americas, the continent of North and South Americas, before Christopher Columbus came over. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? This can't be true. Like, I've never heard of this shit, right? So I was like, all right, let me start digging into this. And he mentioned a couple of names. He mentioned de Saint Angel, who was the guy that basically financed Christopher Columbus during Queen Elizabeth. When Queen Elizabeth sent his ass out here to Indias, de Saint Angel financed him, right? The expeditions. And his letters actually talk about African Americans being here, right? One of the things out of his letters, it says, black-skinned people had come from the southeast in boats, trading in gold-tipped spears. And he takes these spears back to Portugal to test them, and they're apparently like 70% gold, like 20% silver, and like copper and whatever. And then there's an idea that Olmec people in Mexico were actually colonized by African Americans, because there's so many African American faces carved on stones that are not of indigenous people. The anatomy doesn't look like of indigenous people. They're thinking that Olmec people were colonized by African Americans way before Christopher Columbus even made it to the Africas.
Okay.
I mean, to Americas. And so I started digging more and more and more and more and more. And then apparently there was a presence of Africans in 1800s in Hawaii, which I don't think Hawaii has ever been known for slavery or anything like that. So there's a lot of gaps in the history that I found that no one is really talking about.
Okay.
And my question is why? So this led me to another thing. And you can pull up those things that we're sharing. So if you can pull up those charts.
This one?
Yeah. So go back to that article. So this article talks about. This article talks about in comparative perspective, American slavery in comparative perspective, and go back to the black presence in see, these are the sculptures that are carved in stone, but this was carved during Olmec during the Olmec civilization. These are way older than what actual, the 1496 or.
Is this showing me? Thank you. This is the chart. So
Yeah, these are the charts. Now, before we go into the charts, actually, so there was this guy. His name was De Las Casas. De Las Casas was his last name, De Las Casas, but it was Bethlehem or something like that, De Las Casas. Apparently, this guy was super big on defending indigenous people, and he was like, hey, you should start using African slaves instead of indigenous people, because indigenous people cannot handle all the things that you're asking from them to do, and they're dying at a rapid rate. You should start like using the African slaves that you're already getting from Africa. And mind you, at this time, the way they were getting the African slaves from Africa is where they're buying them from the African tribes themselves. The African tribes would get into fights with each other. Like one tribe would conquer the other one, and they would sell the men, working men,
Right,
for
as slaves.
slavery to Portugal. Right? That's how the all the way until about mid 1600s. That's how it was happening.
Okay.
Like the African kings and African tribe leaders were themselves were selling their own people to slavery.
Yeah.
Right? So, and he's like, well, you should use the African slaves because, like, especially from the sub-Saharan Africa area, because they're a lot stronger and they're like more, they can deal with the fluctuations of the temperature and things like that because the indigenous were pretty much, and he didn't realize how bad this is gonna be, right? Like this blew out of the proportion. So it became something. The next 300 years, they just abused Africa, Africa, right? Basically with the slaves and stuff like that. And then eventually he came back and said, no, well, like, you guys are fucking being abusers. Like, and then he started talking for indigenous and Africans. Like, he was one of the original OGs of trying to protect the indigenous by bringing in Africans. And they're like, wait a minute, this is not what I meant. Now he became the OG of protecting everyone, right?
Okay, so let's save animals. All right, you guys are using cows right now. So we're using too many cows. The cows can't
So let's
work.
start using chicken.
Let's
you know
start
what I mean?
using chicken. Okay, no, fuck. You guys are fucking the chickens up. Now we gotta fucking protect every animal.
Every animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that sounds like to me.
Yeah, I hate to say it that way, but okay. So cool. So
So it's like,
basically,
all right, I fucked up. What can I do to help my fuck up?
so these years and things like that, because I didn't know that in the beginning the slaves were sold by the African.
I forget
tribe
you don't
leaders
have
themselves.
you don't have an American
I thought
school
Africans-
upbringing, so you don't know a lot.
I didn't know this. I thought just white people went out there and just fucking just killed a bunch of people and brought them over.
No, they were selling their own people, exactly like you were saying. Basically, like the lowest class of the people
All
were
right,
being sold off.
so now
But I thought they were sold by the pound.
pretty much that's what it looked like.
Was that someone knocking, or was that your
That was
mic?
Mike.
Okay.
So this is estimated annual number of slaves who embarked on ships in Africa and disembarked the Americas from 1500 to 1866, right? Now, the part here that's super interesting and intriguing to me is that 10.7 million slaves were brought to Americas, North and South, right? Now we're going, because you can see right here, like in like this late 1600s, that's when he's starting to ramp up.
You're right.
This is late 1600s. What happened? They're like, all right, well, we're not getting our quota of slaves met. So, like, these tribal leaders are not selling enough of them. So we're just going to go and take a bunch of on our own. This is what started happening late 1600s, right? So this is where the numbers starts ramping up, and they're just bringing boatloads of people, right? So we go back to estimated annual number of slaves who embarked on ships in Africa and disembarked in mainland North America in a territory of the United States. In the territories of the United States, right? And if you remember the late 1600s, this is where that whole thing was starting. And like there's a huge spike, 30,000 for that year, for those years between 04 and 12, which is like 8 years, 30,000 each, so it's about 120,000. Majority were brought in during that time. Now, when you start reading this, there were over 470 that were destined for this area, but only like
470,000.
Yeah, 390 made it. 390,000 made it. But you remember the number from before? 10.7 million?
Right.
Where's the 10,300,000 slaves? Where did they go?
So this was just specifically the population of North America or United States compared to all.
This
of the
is specifically
Americas.
to United States. So where did the other ones go?
And this was in what time? Late 1600s?
No, this is through it's the same time frame.
No, it's a smaller time frame. It looked like.
It's a smaller time frame, but there's a zero here. There's nothing coming in at the
Okay, I
time.
get what you're saying.
At that time, nothing coming in. They started about 1654. So the slavery started in 94, 96. That's the first recorded 20 African slaves that came into United States. To Americas, not United States. To Americas. Sorry, not United States. But the United States history starts till about 1652. This is from Statista. These are not the numbers that I've drawn on fucking Excel spreadsheet. Right? So my question is, where is the 10.3 million slaves that went? Anybody know? Here's an answer I've discovered. 1 point something, almost 2 million slaves.
Go back to YouTube?
Yeah, go ahead. Almost 2 million slaves went to Jamaica. 2 million slaves to Jamaica. Okay. Then there's a bunch in Brazil. Brazil also led this. The Caribbean islands led this, right? And this is where that other article comes in. This article right here.
I wonder how many went through DR and like the island of DR in Haiti.
Yeah.
I bet it's a
Yeah.
lot. I bet it's a lot.
Historical context of American slavery in comparative perspective. Now, this is where this other article comes in. So I started reading. So apparently, the reason why the American slavery, we talk about it so much, is because apparently that American slavery was the
Most
brutal one, and that, right?
We've talked about that before, actually.
Yeah. However, I did a little more digging into this. Remember I told you I went down the rabbit hole?
Right.
So apparently the way it was assumed that within the Hispaniola, which is the southern Americas and things like that, right? The Catholic Church was pretty big, and Catholic Church apparently was supposed to help, right? But Catholic Church a lot of times didn't have any power. This was the Wild Wild West, basically. They didn't have any power. And what would happen was the slaves that got old or were sick, plantation owners would let them go. They would let them go, right? Okay. So, in reality, the situation wasn't any different there than it is here. And a lot of times plantation owners here, like the slaves lived within actual, confines and territories of the plantation owner. The plantation owner was their house, the big house, and then there's the slave houses, right? Where in South America area in there, they were taking them by the boatloads. Like Dominican Republic is all sugarcane. Jamaica all did the sugarcane. Haiti all did the sugarcane. They had lands and lands and lands for these slaves to work on. We're talking about here they had maybe 20, 30, 50 slaves. Over there was 200, 300, 400 slaves that live on their own. They didn't live with the plantation owners. So plantation owners wouldn't even know what was going on with these slaves. And if somebody died there on the fields, who would know about this? They just bury them right under that sugar cane for next year to fertilize that same sugar cane. So what I'm trying to say is, why are we not talking about 10.3 million slaves that kind of like disappeared in the world? Why aren't we talking about that?
What do you mean why we're not talking about it? So,
because we're not talking about it. Because we're talking about it, how United States is this big bad wolf that did the slavery, which they did.
Well, the whole world is involved in that.
Correct. But why are we talking about only about United States?
Well,
why are we
like
not including the rest of the people?
Like we mentioned.
Why? Because Jamaica doesn't have anybody to blame?
No, not because Jamaica doesn't have anybody to blame. Like we mentioned, U.S. was one of the most brutal when it came to the
that's what I'm
treatment.
saying. That the recordings of this history say that it's not necessarily like it's very hard to decide the level of brutality because they were both just as brutal.
From what I've heard, the treatment of actual slaves is a lot worse in the United States compared to everywhere else around the world.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the articles that I read that said that the treatment was brutal. It was different, but they were just equally as brutal. Like the beatings and killings and the rapes and all of that happened on the boats on the way here, happened during the time. It's not like the slaves in South America had their land or they could do whatever they want and they earned money or this and that. No, there's still slaves there. Why? Like, this is what I'm talking about. There's 10 point something. We're talking about the 5% of total slavery versus 95% of total slavery. And we're talking about the 5% that was the most brutal. That makes no sense to me. And this brings questions to me, right? Like, I have questions about this. You know what I mean?
You're comparing a chart of slaves to both Americas to a chart of just North America.
Correct. That's the whole point. Because just North America had 370,000 versus the total Americas had 10.3 million. That's my exact point. Because North America, the territories of United States, that's why this chart is important. It literally talks about the territory of United States. Remember calling it mainland North America. This figure reflects.
I mean, you also have to think about you're living within the confines of America. So what are they going to talk about the most?
No. The question is, why are we talking about 1.4 or 1.5 slaves being moved to Jamaica?
Because that's not us. We don't care.
Because there's nobody to blame in Jamaica.
What do you mean there's nobody to blame?
Who are you going to blame in Jamaica for slavery?
The upper,
Who?
higher ups? What do you mean? Whoever that is, I don't know their names.
What's the
Masta.
what's the yeah, what's the
Mr. Bumbleclat. I don't know, bro.
Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like the Jamaica is predominantly the race is predominantly African American or African Jamaican.
Well, you think that just because they're African American, they're not gonna blame them? They're still gonna blame them.
Who are they gonna blame? Themselves?
Well, I mean, nowadays there's no one to blame.
That's exactly my point. That's exactly my
you
point.
Can still, I mean, not at the same time. It's just you can compare it to just like America. Just trace back the ancestors of those people, I guess. The same way they're trying to do it now.
You trace that back the ancestors and then blame their kids for their ancestors that don't even live on Jamaican islands?
That's what they're doing.
Fuck out of here, bro. That makes no fucking sense to me. That makes zero sense because I want to understand this. I really do want to understand, but this is giving me more questions than it's giving me answers.
But there's no one to blame here today either.
That's my point.
Today.
That is my point. Today,
Anywhere.
There's no one to blame here. Correct. But yet we're doing that.
Who are they blaming?
Everyone.
Oh
white people.
God.
For being racist.
But they're not actually going up to some white people and saying,
well,
your fault. You're the one to blame.
They are because they want to institute reparations, right?
Well, that sounds insane. You're the one to blame. No. Reparations is the system. System still has some to blame because parts of the system that were implicated are still partially there to fuck people. The system, they try to blame the system.
Reparation is for slavery. What are you talking about? Reparation is literally pay you money for saying I'm sorry. That's what it is. That's literally what reparations are. It's paying money for slavery.
What can I say, Jay? I don't have the answers you're asking.
That's my point. That's exactly my point.
Well, we don't have.
No one has these
to
answers.
debate that.
That's literally my
All
point. That's literally exactly my point.
Is she ready?
I have a quick topic for you guys.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think she's ready.
Go ahead.
So, we back in 1983. Let me look at my notes here real quick. Yes, back in 1983, we sent a radio signal to space with a bunch of drawings. I have the Instagram link, but you guys, I don't know if you guys seen it. It's about the evolution.
You send it to Discord, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, it's the evolution of humanity in hopes to contact aliens, and the pictures were hilarious. It was a bunch of sketches of little particles, and then they turn into like little dinosaurs, and then it's like a kid drew a dinosaur trying to get out of the water, and then it's like a fucking picture of a human, and it just looks funny as fuck.
And did they receive?
Did we receive something back?
Yeah.
Did
we get anything back?
Supposedly today was like the day that we were supposed to get anything.
If we got anything back?
Yeah,
And
it
we
was like
didn't
the
get
highest chance.
And we didn't get nothing back?
I don't think so.
God damn it. God damn it. I want it to be true.
And then the Russians also tried landing on the moon with their Luna 25. And that crashed on the moon, failed the mission.
Shallow opinion, he came to Israel. Okay, good talk, bro.
That
no,
means
not
that
you.
their space program is probably going to be shut down for quite a while. Because of the sanctions that the world has on them.
Say again that last part, Mickey.
So, do you want me to start from the beginning real quick?
Just that last part you said. What was it?
I think their space program is going to be slowed down a lot due to the sanctions of the U.S. on Russia. So they're going to have a really difficult time trying to get parts, or at least cheaper parts, for their space program.
Who, Russians?
Correct.
Well, yeah, because the whole thing with Russians, because like one of the things that international community pretty much said "fuck you" to Russians about was the GPS, right? Because their GPS that we have on our phones is good, but like the actual military GPS is much better. So they pretty much cut off Russia from the GPS. So that those parts are actually important for sending satellites up in space to create
Was that you, Miggy?
Mm-hmm.
the GPS.
Let's
The
take a look
GPS.
at these. Oh shit. My wife would. Yeah, we don't want to hear that, bro.
Yeah, I don't care honestly who wants to explain to me.
You post in general.
Hmm.
Yeah.
This is the This is not the picture they said. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
This is
that's
the-
what they said.
Can't look at it.
I mean, that's big enough, I think, on stream.
Okay.
You
What
kind of
the
see
hell?
what it is.
You're right. There are a bunch of like little shitty drawings of like fish and what?
And then
Like
there's the little human saying hello at the
Okay.
bottom.
the little fish saying hello on
The
the
little
bottom.
human saying hello. See, it's like waving.
Oh, the little kid. Are these Chinese letters? I can't make out anything.
Yeah, I can't.
They
Are
look
these
like
Chinese
they're
letters?
like Egyptian letters. No wonder we can't even read Egyptian, right? And now we're sending this Egyptian code.
Are there Egyptian hieroglyphs?
I don't think so.
Oh shit! But look at it. This is like the human history. Go back.
Let me see. I'm trying to make it bigger.
Let me know when to flip it back.
I'm trying to just make this bigger.
That looks like it's human history.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to draw
Like
a
this.
picture of
Yeah,
human history. kind
yeah.
of
See,
sense
like
of
because it
Earth.
starts with like this is DNA from what it looks like, and then it goes into bacteria that evolved into mollusks, then fish started coming onto the earth, dinosaurs, monkeys, from monkeys to humans, to the Neanderthals probably, then humans themselves, and this is the proof of us being in AI because we don't understand what this is.
It says
So the
toast.
Huh?
It says toast at the bottom.
Toast?
Yeah, right there. See,
Can you read
no, you had
Chinese?
it right on top of on the mouse on the cursor. You had it. Yeah, right there. Right under that, under those two symbols, it says toast.
Toast.
Like what the fuck?
Like toast, like if you drink,
What did you do?
you're
Fucking-
drinking and
what
you're
are they do-
toasting maybe?
What are they showing off geometry? What the fuck is this?
It's probably physics or geometry of some sort. I'm not sure.
It's like we finally found physics, and now we're trying
Why,
to
I
contact
wonder
you.
why these were the pictures they decided to send out. That's my thing. What like? I get what you're saying, kind of like demonstrating Earth history in a sense. Like that's what they're trying to show off. Okay. The fucking is that a Bigfoot, motherfucker? What is that? A chimp?
That's probably like the very first humanoids, monkeys. You know?
Basically.
Yeah. I don't know.
What if they just get the complete different message? It's like, we have animals, we're breeding to fuck you up, and then that sign they interpret as like, come over, we'll fuck you up.
What? Said it again? What do you mean?
Like, what if they interpret those signs as what I just said? Like, come over, we'll fuck you up. Look, we're reproducing, because that's what the symbols are. Like, we're the evolution of humans. It's like, come on, come fuck us up. We've evolved.
Oh, you mean in that sense?
Yeah. Like
Bro,
we're inciting some violence
There-
against aliens.
There's nobody's gonna come down here. No one is gonna come down, cause physics laws and rules are like the same everywhere in universe. It is.
Well, they talk about how there's only it's viable up to a certain speed unless you're moving. It has to do with how fast you're moving through the universe as well. Certain
Yeah.
things.
So to
Like-
move at that speed is come even near close to speed of light is impossible. Number one, and if you do come close to speed of light, it still take you 4.5 light years to reach Earth
From the closest star, yeah.
from the closest star, which we know in between now and there are no habitable galaxies. We can tell that by spectroscopy. We can take a picture of shit by light, shining light at it, and tell exactly what kind of chemicals are within that atmosphere.
Hmm.
So that's why they can really exactly say that in the furthest reaches of galaxy, our chemical table still exists. Like carbon is there, silica is there, oxygen is there, hydrogen is there. They can tell that. That's why it's impossible for somebody
how
to
would
have been here.
How we're sending out these messages to aliens, but how would we actually receive a message from aliens, or what would aliens send us?
That's the thing, right? So they always like my ideology about this is like if they went through like for example like we went the route of like combustion motors and electricity
Mm-hmm.
and something like this, what if they found some other form of energy and harnessed that and moved on from there, something that we have no idea that's even there? Maybe it isn't even, maybe it's not even possible within our solar system, some kind of element of
Bro, we
something in our
accidentally
of their
found
atmosphere that they've
physics.
that's different about our, like, you know what I mean, like there's so many
No.
possible things that
Well,
could
that's
be
what- that's
about
what
like
I'm
how
saying.
different they could be from
With
us.
light spectroscopy, you can tell with 100% certainty that it is exactly the same thing.
Your brother talking about space.
You can bend space. I don't believe that nobody had been here. Yeah, but for you to bend space,
Let me ask you this:
the
if
physics are the
we're
same.
asking the question if anybody's been here. So, the thing is like, bringing the conversation of the pyramids again. How are the pyramids, if there's things from the pyramids all the way from Egypt to the ones in Mexico? They're not exactly the same, right? You look at them, they look
No,
completely
they're
different.
not. Mm-hmm.
But there's certain aspects
Yes, or,
of
or
them
similar.
that are no exactly the same.
Yeah.
The
So-
certain parts of them, that the way that they're designed and stuff like that and put together is exactly the same. Like the same thought process, if you want to put it that way, went into doing that.
So,
Right?
so
How was
So
that
that's what I'm-
communicated from one
that's
side of the
actually-
earth to the other?
this is actually going back to the conversation we had earlier, because this article literally talks about how majority of the people that they think that were existed in within Mexico area were actually Egyptians that came over on a boat towards United States.
That long ago?
Towards them, yes.
That long ago.
Well, these
Times of the pyramids.
these Olmec people, they were like back in thousands and thousands of years ago. That's when they existed.
And they were talking about
So they were saying that they accidentally ended up in Americas because it could have been like a storm or something like that that pushed their boats over this way. So they could have brought that ancient Egyptian technology of building those pyramids. Do you see what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, the technology and the thought process of, but I think there's also parts of it. Let me see.
I know
I
what
think
you're
there's
asking.
actual pieces of stone that are the same ones from there to there. Let me
Like
see.
the geology of the stone.
No, the same ones. Like the same cut of stone somehow. Let
Yeah,
me
like
see.
the geology of the stone, like it's the same.
Yeah, right. Okay,
This-
from the same place, right.
So, but then there's another dude that demonstrated. I don't know if you've seen it. There's another dude that demonstrated how you can move big pieces of rock by like simple doodads and gadgets. Have you seen it?
Like what, a spoon or something? Like
What do you mean?
No. Well, the dude is just kind of like lifting, like, you know, he's got this little piece of wood, and he uses that piece of wood to like move the stone up on one side, and then puts another piece of wood underneath it, and then pulls it on the other side, puts another piece of wood underneath it, and keeps raising this rock on top of the stone.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
but there's
see.
still the question of how actually moving the rocks that are that size up there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, by this lever system that they lift the rocks up, and then they cut wood in a certain angle where they take a stone and they just push it, and its weight rolls it over these wooden planks, right? This guy, I don't know, I saw a reel
Sounds
on this
far-
guy.
From what I've heard,
Mm-hmm.
there's no technology for them dating that back that far that it makes any sense for them to have gotten that size of a rock up that high. You know what I mean? Or even move it that far. Like some of the apparently like the granite slabs that are inside of the pyramids, like were from mountains. No, I don't know, thousands of miles or something like that away. Like how did they get that from point A to point B in general?
That's what I'm saying. Like this system of levers that this guy was explaining, that you can, like, he had this gigantic piece of rock, like just made out of cement, and it was just like spinning it with one hand because it was like sitting on a specific like piece of wood or something that he could move it. Anyway, all I'm trying to say, if they exist, if they were bending the space and time before, and they're showing these people how to build the pyramids, why aren't they doing it now?
They lost the faith in humanity.
They lost the faith in humanity.
Yeah, I don't know where like that these comments are coming from, but okay.
No, they're just arguing. I mean, you know, if you want to talk about it one day, we can. Just let me know what you want to exactly talk about, and we can talk about that.
Yo, Blue
I have no
Beetle is
issue
gonna
with
be a
that.
good movie. You guys watching that movie?
No,
No, why not?
probably not. No,
What?
no. I have been out of the superhero movie mood for a long time, unless it's something maybe like the new Joker I'll watch, something like that. But I don't think I'm watching any superhero movies anytime soon. Like it took me. How long? What has like
Okay,
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 I've been out for? And like
I haven't even watched that.
I
Can
just
you
watched it
start
recently.
The chat.
Oh, she's here.
Yeah.
Nice. Give us who we having on today, Jay?
All right, so let's bring her on, and then let's bring her on, and
Damn it.
it's been 8 minutes since she texted me. Oh no, only 4 minutes ago she texted me. So, ring the group. Hit that ring the group button.
Damn.
Turn on mine off. Okay. Hey Valentina, what's up?
Hi guys.
Can you see us
I'm
well?
a little nervous.
No
Yes.
worry, no worry. Can you see us well?
Yes.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna introduce you to the chat, and then you know we'll ask you questions. So don't feel nervous. Everything is gonna be fine. So hey guys, so this is Valentina. I met Valentina. She's actually been my Spanish teacher for the better part of almost 2 years now. I met her basically on this application. It was called italki. So any of you that want to learn Spanish, I'm like plugging her in right now. So go find her. She's really good at this, right?
And I have a YouTube channel also.
Yeah, yes, that's right. She has also a YouTube channel.
fun.
So guys, yeah, go ahead, like and subscribe.
Yes.
We'll throw that in the description for you as well. And yeah, basically. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to go kind of international on this, and wanted to talk about different perspectives, because you lived in several different countries. You've lived in you're from Colombia, right? And if I miss
Yes,
something, then
from
I'll let you
Medellin.
and I'll have you talk about it. So, okay. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, your name, where you are, what's your relationship status, what do you do?
Okay. Hi, my name is Valentina. I'm 27 years old. I'm from Medellin, Colombia. This is my first time talking in English live in YouTube. I'm an architect, and I used to live last year in France. I lived in France for 1 year. That's it.
Okay, cool. So you lived in all your life in Colombia, Medellin in Colombia, and then
Yes.
last year you moved to France for a year, and then you're back to Colombia now. But you've also lived in
I'm back.
you've also lived in United States as well, right? You have like family
I've
members.
Yes, I've been in the States like 3 times, and when I go there, I stay like minimum for 1 month. But it's just because I have family in New Orleans.
Okay.
So
Cool. So now, Valentina, what would you say is the biggest difference between people in Colombia, in France, and United States?
okay. I think for me the biggest difference is like, I don't know how you say in English, like the warm,
The warmth?
yes, of the person. Como we the other
el
person
cariño.
around.
El
Sí,
cariño.
yes.
So,
Yes. Like we
The
are very
cuddles.
soft.
how I always say cuddles,
They're more
but
affectionate.
more, yeah.
They're
So,
more affectionate.
there you go. You show more affection towards people, and I always say cuddles because that's how kind of like the
Wait,
comparison.
wait, wait. Who?
What do you mean?
Who's more?
Like,
Who's,
so, oh, she's okay.
yeah, who do you think is more?
More.
Affectionate. So she's saying that the people, you're saying that people in America don't have that cariño.
I don't know like that much in the States, but in Colombia we are like more, how do you say cuddling?
Affectionate.
Affectionate.
Well,
Affectionate.
Affectionate.
Because in France the people it's like kind of bipolar.
Okay.
One day they are going to, hi, how are you? The next day, they don't say nothing to you.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, what?
Americans mostly are on just the strictly the asshole side. Like they don't
Yeah.
they don't go the other
So
way.
so tell us now. Tell us a little more. How did that whole thing with you moving to France work? Because you had a pretty good job. You're an architect. You were working for a company. From what I understand, everything was good. And then just kind of tell us that story. How did you end up in France?
Okay. Yes, I was working as an architect here in a very good company. I was 26, but then I saw news that Colombia and France has an agreement of a working holiday visa.
Mm-hmm.
And that working holiday visa is for people for under 30 years old. So I say I need to do this now if I want to travel and
Yeah.
I earn more money. So I take the risk. I did all of the papers and they gave me my visa and I moved to France without having a job. But when I went, it was pretty easy because it was like seasonal jobs
Yeah.
for hotels and
Okay.
there was a lot of jobs available.
Yeah.
So
Like
it was
seasonal
easy
work.
for me.
We understand. Yeah.
Mhm,
How long were you over in
mhm.
France?
1 year,
Okay.
exactly 1 year, from April to April.
From April to
Because
April.
the visa, because the visa had like the
Time limit.
365 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Couldn't exceed that. Couldn't exceed that 1 year without
Mm-hmm.
violating the visa.
No.
Right.
But you're being too nice here. Tell us the exact what happened. You went first to France on like a voluntary work, right? Without knowing that you had a job or
Yes.
anything.
Right. She told us
Mm-hmm.
she didn't have a job at all before she got there. Right. She
I
just.
didn't have a job, so I arrived to France with a program with it's a website that it's called, I forgot the name, but it's a website for volunteering jobs. So I went to a farm in the south of France in Toulouse and I work in exchange of food and housing.
Okay. So hospitality.
Uh-huh.
So
And
so basically you worked on a farm in exchange for food and housing.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And in that time I was working, I was looking for jobs and then I got the job of
Okay.
and the hotel.
Cool.
But
Cool.
you're
And
welcome.
then you were in a hotel for about a year and now you're back and
11 months.
11 months. So and then my
Exactly 11
understanding is
months.
like you're planning to go back again.
Hmm. But in France, the people, I don't know how you say, bureaucracy, like all of that paper work is very slow. So I've been here in Colombia for 3.5 months and I'm still waiting.
Okay.
Now let's talk about this other situation where you're technically an architect. When someone is an architect in the United States, they're pretty much set. They have a pretty good job. They don't have to worry about anything. They're making really really good money. But you had to quit your job to go to France. But you're not an architect, and like you're an architect, but you're not working in that field anymore at this moment.
No, no, because I think in Colombia we earn very little money. So as an architect, I was doing like my calculation, and in 1 year, maximum, I can earn 5,000 dollars.
Okay.
But in France,
Per year,
cleaning
per year.
per year,
Mm-hmm.
per year. In France, cleaning, I made the minimum wage, but it's like 18 to 22,000 euros per year. So I was earning in France like
Four times
three,
more.
like, mm-hmm,
Yeah.
And right now,
and earning more than my old boss.
But then you also would have to say like compare the cost of living. It's a lot more in France, I would assume, right, than it is in Colombia.
Yes, but in these kind of jobs, when you work at the hotel, they gave me housing and they gave me food.
Oh,
So
nice.
most of the salary
Yeah,
it
most
was
of your
all
cost
for
of
me.
a lot of your big portion of what you consider cost of living has been cut down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So
And they cook for me, so it was very.
Perfect.
so right now you're in Colombia.
Mhm.
You're not doing you're not working as an architect.
No,
You're working only with as a teacher
the classes.
with the class
Yes,
as a
as
teacher.
a Spanish teacher.
Can you tell
Mhm.
why not going back to being an architect?
Because first, in this moment, for me, is I don't want to be, how do you say, working full time in a company that is not going to pay me. In Italki, giving Spanish classes, I made more than as an architect
Which
full
which
time.
which I think is crazy that italki, you
Hmm.
just teaching classes pays you more than being an architect.
And I enjoy it more. And for me, it's more comfortable because I'm
Working
in
from
my
home.
house. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
So for me, it's like very being
So
here and making here. I don't work all day. I work like some days I work 6 hours. Some days I work today I work 3 hours, and I'm making more than working full time as an architect.
that's
Look at that.
crazy.
That's not something you could say in
Mm-hmm.
America, right?
Hell no, bro.
That's not happening here, right? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
because my living cost here is very low in US dollars.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Have you ever thought about actually making the move 100% to France or US? Is that something you want to do? Or
I would like France, not the US. I
Why
really
not?
Yeah.
don't
That's
like
actually
US.
yeah. Let's talk about that.
But
Why
That's
not?
a that's a
she
good
was
question.
just complaining
And
about
then
how they were bipolar over there, but
and
she
then
still
are you
chooses
do
to
you
go.
want
But
to
I don't.
utilize your architecture background in France, or is you just
Yes, I can. Maybe I can when I want to take advantage of the help that the hotel is giving me because for the visa.
got you?
But I can validate my studies in France, and I can work as an architect later in 2 or 3 years.
Okay. Well, that's good.
And
If that's like a that sounds like a pretty solid plan so far.
yes, I'm a planner. And I don't like the States because the culture and the
I don't
yes, I
blame you,
don't like.
honestly. I don't blame you. I
So
mean,
so
For
yeah,
example,
I wanted
when
to ask you like what was your you said you've been to the States, visiting family in
yes,
New Orleans and stuff. What was your experience here? Like, is it really just like I don't want to come back, or is you like to visit and does not live here? Like,
I yes, I like to visit but don't live there because one of the things that I don't like is that you depend a lot of using cards.
okay.
You need to use the card to go buy milk.
Well, it depends on where you live because there are certain places like
Okay.
do they
like
have
if you
Apple?
live in New York City is a very like the I guess the best example. You don't necessarily need a car because public transportation is the way that the majority of the people are moving around, even those with a lot of money.
Okay.
Because sometimes in New York City, if you're trying to go from just like from uptown Manhattan to downtown Manhattan, like it's a lot faster and through the train than it is in the car due to the traffic and the
Okay.
amount of people that are there. It's actually more efficient than moving in a car. So places like that,
Okay,
and
maybe.
there's some other places in the United States, not just New
York,
York City,
Chicago, Baltimore,
Chicago,
LA.
Chicago. I went to
Where did you
Chicago.
come when you came over to the U.S.?
I've been in Chicago, New Orleans, Panama City Beach, Atlanta, and Houston. And in New York, just in the airport.
Okay. So you've been
But
She's
you've
been
been
places.
around.
She's been places.
You've been around.
yes, I like to travel.
Well, her aunt lives here, so
Right.
she
in New
visits
Orleans,
a
so
lot. Yeah.
that's nice. You've had the experience of
And directly
seeing
to
those
New
different
Orleans,
places.
like arguably the party city of United States, like where all the craziness is usually.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy people out there.
So okay, so tell us why not United States? Why France? Why would you?
Okay. First, in the States, because the car. I don't like
The
that.
car, right.
Second, like the
What
how
mean
do
the
you
car they
say,
have to drive?
She doesn't
Overall?
like the fact that in a lot of places in the United States
you
you need a car. You
depend.
depend on having a car. If you don't
Yes,
have a car, it's very hard for you to
yes.
move around and get things like
Uh-huh.
I see what
normal.
you're saying. Okay.
Uh-huh. Second, the food, the alimentation, I don't know, culture.
The food.
Everything is big, yes. Like if I'm going to buy small coffee, I want to small coffee,
Yeah,
latte, small,
yeah.
small, small, medium, large. No, I don't like.
Gotcha.
I don't
Oh,
like
so
that.
this is the quantity of food that you're getting.
Quantity and quality, because I think the states have bad quality.
See
They do.
that's something that we would all agree with that it's around the world. Everybody talks about how the U.S. is favors quantity over quality a lot of times, and
Yes.
that's how food is sold. Versus a lot of other places around the world, it's the opposite, right? They favor quality over quantity.
Mhm.
Like
In
when you go
France,
to when
is
you
the
go to a really
opposite.
nice restaurant and what they give you on the plate is like this big,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because and you're not used to that as an
And
American.
I'm paying $70 for this shit.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Yes, in France is the opposite. In
Right.
France, like the women, come on, don't eat that much. They smoke a lot of cigarettes. I don't like that. But they take care of themselves, wine, they enjoy the food, quality cheeses. All of that.
So
So-
she
But
doesn't
in
like
the
the smoke,
States,
but she
no.
likes the alcohol, is what she's saying. She
Yeah.
likes the wine.
The one.
So
One.
would you say it's because here in the United States we have the body positivity movement where as a matter of fact they just canceled one of the, I think it was Queen's, one of the top songs from 80s was canceled.
Yes.
They removed
Something
it.
about big bottoms.
Yeah, big girls with big bottoms, something like that.
that.
That was removed, which was crazy to me because they're pushing the-
Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Queen. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the idea.
Big bottom is big
Big ass. Yeah.
butts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the
Cool-
idea
cool
here is
grande.
that the body positivity, be big, but then you have Colombia where women really take care of themselves. You have France where they really take care of themselves. How do you see the difference between these countries?
Yes, because in here in Medellin we have not pressure, but we are surrounded about around beautiful women. I told Jay when I was going to the gym, like the women in the gym are like models, and I'm like,
Which gym do you go to, by the way?
every gym here, like women here, they are gorgeous. So we have.
You know, when we were over there, I remember us walking around. We're like, "There's something in the food. What are they drinking here?" Yeah,
No, but also maybe the weather. I don't
the
know.
weather.
The genetic.
dude.
Yes, because
Yo,
definitely the rain.
No, wait.
All right, baby. There's
because-
5 inches of rain tonight. We gotta make the most out of it. Let's go.
Listen to me. Wait, when it's warm weather, we tend to use like less clothes.
Yeah,
like-
more, yeah, and showing
All
more
of the
yourself.
year we need to be in shape.
Yeah,
Well, here when
Oh,
when we
you're
have
right.
warm
Oh,
weather here, they use less clothes too. But then there's a problem with that.
Yo, that's funny because she says
less clothes
she
and
says,
still a lot of skin.
She
Yeah.
says during the summer it's very hot here. Meanwhile, it's winter. We go to, let's say, Tangra. Girls are fucking wearing tube tops. It's
Yeah.
like
You know,
40 degrees outside.
a couple years back here, we had a Christmas. You know, December 25th. It was still 88 degrees outside, which is I don't know how much in Celsius, but she probably doesn't understand what I'm saying. But
88
88,
degrees in
no.
Celsius. That's close to probably like 32-ish
Or
so.
less. Okay.
Maybe a little bit.
It's
less.
hot.
Yeah,
hot,
very hot.
hot when it's supposed to be cold.
So, what would you say? What would you say when you see it like that, and then you see the attitudes of people in the United States? Do you agree with that or not so much?
No, with the attitude, no, because I watch videos in YouTube and that the woman say I'm a 10 videos that we talk about. I'm a 10. No, no, that's laziness. Laziness.
Yeah.
She's like,
Laziness.
you're
Yeah.
like a 2 in
Laziness.
Colombia.
Yeah.
I'm like a dude.
No, not you,
the
not you.
girls,
The lady, the girl
lady.
that's like, I'm a 10.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So you don't agree with that whole attitude of it, but do you
No.
think that attitude is shifting over to Colombia slowly with globalization? Which,
I don't think so.
not yet, at least.
No,
Okay.
not yet.
There's still some hope for everyone.
There's still some hope for everyone else.
No. What about France? What
No,
about
because
France? Okay.
here we like to feel pretty, take care of ourselves,
Yes.
going to the gym, to the spa. So because we have a lot of beautiful women around.
I think the it's not that necessarily like the pretty beautiful stigma. It's that I think what the thing that people like us. I mean, I can't speak, but Jay has a problem with is them promoting this when it's not even healthy,
Yes.
right?
The unhealthiness.
The
Yeah.
unhealthiness
Mhm.
to this promotion, right?
The hell with like not being aesthetic to your eye. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
each
Like
to
the whole
each his
pretty,
own.
beautiful thing, right? Everyone has their own stigma on what they think is pretty or beautiful. No, it's just promoting the unhealthiness that I think is the big problem.
Pretty.
Which I like I said, from my perspective, I can't say shit. I'm not a healthy person, but that's the problem. That is the problem.
Well, so what about France? What about France?
No, in France it's like the opposite to the States because in France the women are beautiful and they
What
have
about the attitude itself?
She said earlier they're a little more bipolar, bipolar, right? Like
Yeah.
back and forth.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
But with the body, they take care of themselves
yeah.
and they are more. We show in Colombia, we show more,
Skin
we are more sexy, I don't know,
Yeah.
more, how do you say?
provocative.
Provocative, yes. In France, no. In France,
But
no. They have good bodies, they take care of themselves, but they are more elegant.
But I think in
Okay.
Colombia, women are a little more curvy, which
Yes.
Yes,
Also.
yes.
they're,
So
they're a little more curvy naturally.
in
And then,
in Europe, you have the stigma more of a smaller,
Skinny.
right? Small
Skinny.
waist, small everything, right?
well, no, what I'm saying is in Colombia, women can be skinny. It's just if they have a bigger hip bone and they're naturally endowed in the chest, like there's nothing they can do about it. You know what I mean? Like you
Yes.
can't get rid of
We
it.
are curving.
It's just the genetic coding is different. I think.
Yeah.
But
Something
okay,
in the
so
water, like we said.
yeah. So, so with Colombia obviously has its own, benefits and drawbacks, and all that. Now, how do you look at all the foreigners coming to Colombia? Do you consider that a
That-
good thing? Do you consider that a bad thing? Is it something I don't know?
Good and bad in talking about what? Because I don't like when people come with the stigma of easy women
Easy
and
women?
drugs.
Yeah, because I mean, let's be honest.
No.
Like, prostitution is legal in Colombia, and
Yes.
and a lot of people go there for that. But
And a lot of women. I think I've heard that 50,000 women in Medellin have OnlyFans.
50,000.
women in Medellin have
Wow.
It's
OnlyFans.
very common.
Wow.
It's very common.
But in total, how many people live in Medellin? Because I know it's 54 or 52 million in Colombia.
In Colombia. Medellin, the city is like 2.5 million, but in the area metropolitana, like the metropolitan, that it's 10 cities, we are like 3 millions.
So around 2 million, you say 2.5 million within Medellin.
In Medellin.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
50,000 out of 2.5 million, we're looking at what, 0.2% or something like that? Something like that.
In Medellin.
0.2%. So it's not a very big, but it is a big
Or
population.
1%. 1%. No.
No, bit less. 2%.
52 million
0.2%.
to 500. Okay.
0.2 or 0.02, something like that. Migi, can you do the
It's
number
like
real quick?
less than 0.5%, right?
Yeah, it's definitely less than 0.5% for sure. But which still, you know, with Colombia being a very, I would
I
say,
would also-
conservative country, very
and-
Catholic conservative
And
country,
you would
right?
also have to look at the fact that how, like for example, how many of the people in Colombia are people who even have money to really even be accessing technology on a like that kind of way, right? Like some people aren't. Some people are living in a lot of like you have a
I saw
large,
that.
large
I saw
population of
that.
older people that are don't even look into that because one that doesn't interest them, and they probably don't have the money either. So there's a lot of that. So there's only a large. I'd say there's a smaller portion of people that are even interacting with technology, and you have to look at that. And then those are the girls that, and then see okay compared to that to the 50,000, I would say.
I saw the statistic, I think yesterday, that 56% of people in Colombia have access to internet.
Look at that.
56%.
It's only
So-
like half of the
So
people.
out of the 56%, so you're
That's
looking
what you
at
would have
about
to
1
look-
million
But
people have
the
access.
people who watch the girls here in Medellin is not from Colombia. It's from the States and
Right,
from...
the people who watch it, but we're saying like the actual content creators, right? Like so.
Ah, okay. Mhm.
So you also have a lot of immigrant women, right? For example, like from Venezuela, that are
Here.
yes engaging in the same businesses, right? Like
Yes.
the sex business, basically,
Right.
or no?
Or corn business.
When the COVID ended,
Mhm.
it was like very famous that the girls from Venezuela were coming here to work as a prostitute,
Yeah, prostitutes.
and they were charging
She said it like, "Can
less.
I say this?"
Oh, they're charging less.
They are charging less, and the women from Venezuela are also very beautiful. So I don't know. They were like fighting the prostitutes. Colombian.
Yo, they had beef. They said you coming over here and taking my money, bitch.
Taking my business, yes, yes.
So, but you know, because overall, you know, last time I was there visiting, you know, you came out, hung out with us for a little bit. You know, we went out, grabbed something to eat, and what I noticed, because I haven't been back in Colombia for about a year, maybe year and a half before that. And when I came back, I've noticed that the prices have gone up significantly.
Mm-hmm.
They're going up significantly.
Don't tell
Now,
me
again,
that.
it's still
Don't tell me that. It was so nice when I went. How cheap
no,
it
it's
was.
still
'cause, you
it's
know,
still cheap for us.
Yeah.
It's still cheap
For,
for us, but
for
they're
you.
significantly up for people that live there.
Right.
Like I can tell
For
the
me,
difference.
no. In 1 year, I went 1 year to France, and when I came back, like my grocery, I'm very organized. My grocery my grocery
You can say
prices went up 30%, and I'm like, ah!
Damn. Yeah.
Yes.
But
it is
she also
more
went
expensive
shopping
now.
the other day, bought like 95 different bags for like a full week of food for 11,000.
Only the vegetables, 11,000 pesos, Colombian pesos, and I told you it's like 2.5
Yeah.
US dollars.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah. That's less
Yeah,
than
she's coming
$3.
from Europe, you know, with all them euros, $2.5. Take your money.
keep the
Damn.
change too.
So she's going back to Colombia, not even as an American, as a European with even more money. It's like you peasants.
You ever watch that movie Eurotrip?
No.
So it's these young kids, and they're like they're in a trip in Europe, right? These young kids, and they're like in Serbia or some country, like a very poor country, and they're like, we have no money. What are we gonna do? So between the four of them, they count $1.20, and they're like, what are we gonna do with this? And then so they ended up, and then the camera shifts, and they're showing them they're bringing like bunch of food. So apparently in this country, the dollar was so high they could get so much shit for, like they had rooms, massage service, food. They only
With
had
$1.20.
and then the guy gives the waiter a nickel as a tip. The waiter takes the nickel, looks at it. A nickel? Turns around at the owner, goes, I quit. I will open my own hotel and restaurant. And he slaps the owner in the face and leaves.
With a nickel. With that 5 cents. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
With the nickel, fuck the shit I'm out. So that's Valentina. He's like, you want $2 for your vegetables? Here. I buy my own store.
I guess like, yeah, it's less than $3.
When the first day that I came back from France, my dad, my aunt, and my uncle went to pick me up in the airport. And I say, okay, let's go to have lunch and be European here. so I invite the lunch for 4 people. Guess how many euros I spent for 4 people? 26 euros. And I'm like,
I got this.
I got this.
I got this.
You were saying, Miggy?
In North Korea, I was watching a documentary where $1 will get you 9 pounds of corn, which is food for a family for about a week.
Shit.
9
That's
pounds,
a-
yeah.
So Vale, okay, so let's talk about I mean, we kind of talked about the country, let's talk about the relationships. How are things in Colombia, and what are the relationships between guys and girls, and what's the opposite, and what's, how does that
Like,
whole
what's
thing, how's the
comparable to
dynamic?
France, I guess you can say, because that's where you spend most time, I guess.
Yeah,
so.
if you could compare it to France versus United States.
But I went to France in a relationship. So in France, I didn't date a French guy. So I really don't know. But I think that what I say, they are not so
Different?
loving.
They're not so
No.
loving?
they're not so-
Okay.
okay.
So they're not so cariñosos,
Yeah.
right?
But, but here, I like that the guys here, the paisa more.
I could barely.
They
do
are
that.
very-
What was it? What was
So
it?
the Paisa guys.
Paisa guys. What is that? What is you? What is
Paisa
that?
guys, meaning the guys from
Guys
Antioquia,
from Medellin.
from that area.
Okay.
From Antioquia. I like that the guys from here, they focus like in making you feel
They
love
focus on.
and
Wait,
They
say
focus
that
on
again. What'd
making
you
you
say?
happy and
What did you say?
Make-
Yo,
Making
look,
you-
everybody's trying to take notes. That's what I say. Everybody got close to the screen. Everybody's trying to take notes.
I thought that make
Can we
Trying to
pop her
understand it,
can you
sorry.
pop her volume
I can
up? I
pop-
think the reason we're trying to concentrate is like we're getting closer to the screen, like we're gonna hear it better. But it's really just the volume. Yeah, give it-
because
yeah.
oh, it's me.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
Okay, boom.
Much
can-
better. Much better now. All right. So
Okay, that the guys here, they conquer you. No,
conquer you?
do you say conquer you?
No, like they.
No,
no, I'm not conquer, but
not but
they dominate, show dominance.
No, I
you
think
mean?
no,
I think
no,
what she's
no.
talking, I think she's talking about like the chivalry, like where chivalry.
They're more.
It's okay. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's more like open the door for you, pay for your dinner, this and that,
they're
like bring you
more
flowers
they're
and
more
things like that.
romantic,
No.
is what you're trying to say.
Yes, they are
Okay.
more romantic and they speak very nice.
Look at that. The stigma is like French men being so loving and caring. And, no, but
I
look
know.
at that. Look at
No,
that.
no.
Compared
the
compared it
people
to
don't.
Colombian men. Okay.
All right. So, but now, do you see the difference as far as like as a girl, men approaching you? Let's say they're approaching Colombia, they're approaching France, or they're approaching the United States. Do you see the difference between the approach or like where it's
I
a
don't
more,
know.
little more masculine, a little less masculine,
I don't know that much in the States because I went when I was like teenager. But I think in the States, what I heard from my cousins, they say that the women there are the ones who make the move, not that much the guys. I don't know.
Yes and no. I
And
don't think
the-
it's not necessarily true. I
I would
think there's
still
some
say-
rare cases, yes, but
It's
Not
very,
always, no.
it's very rare, and in some kind of way, and even in some kind of minor way, the man still has to almost present themselves.
Yes.
And even if they don't do it,
it's welcomed, but yeah, it doesn't happen very
it doesn't.
often.
It does not happen
It sure
often.
it certainly would make things easier for guys if women
Yeah.
did that. But
Yes.
like I think girls are way too afraid of rejection for them to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But does that happen?
Mhm.
Yes. Does that happen
But
more often than in Colombia? I'm sure it does.
I've had that actually happen to me.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, my cousin from Colombia went to the States, and the girl, he told me like the girl almost did everything that he wanted that night.
Okay. Oh. Okay. In a sense of like girls being a little more free with things that
Sexually
they're willing
very
to do. Sexually a
yes.
little more promiscuous. Okay. All right. Cool. But
But here I can't say that I wouldn't talk to a guy. No, no. Here we wait, and you came to talk to
I mean,
me.
that's still pretty. That's still pretty normal
Yeah.
here. It's still
Yeah.
pretty normal
But
here.
as far as like the expectations, do you see what I'm saying? Like what the guy expects from you in a relationship, let's say in Colombia versus somebody that might expect in France, somebody might expect in the United States.
In relationships,
Hmm.
I don't know.
Like you
Tell
said,
me one example.
yeah.
Like for example, in relationships, do Colombian men expect that you're going to cook and clean and do this shit and
No, I don't think so.
Mhm.
I think here is more like 50-50. I think.
Okay.
When I had a relationship for 4 years, and we were like, no, 50-50, 35. And
Yeah.
but yes, it's more like equal
Okay.
here. I don't know in the States. And in France, I didn't date any French guys, so I don't know.
But you didn't see
But
anything as far as because the
No.
owner of the restaurant was French, and then you saw a bunch of French people coming. Because
the
understanding-
owner of the restaurant was French, and his wife
The hotel.
was Mexican, and I think the relationship is 100% financially him,
Mhm.
and in the house 100% her with the kids.
So in your opinion, majority of women in Colombia, what would they prefer? Would they prefer a relationship where the guy is the money earner and they just kind of take care of the house, or they would prefer like the 50-50 that you're saying, or would they prefer like they don't care, or would you say it's changing? How would you say?
It depends a lot, because I have two of my best friends. We are three, and we three think very different. For example, one of my best friends, she wants to have the power and she wants to bring most of the money. The other one wants to be 50-50. And for me, in my case, no. I want, like in the beginning of the relationship, okay, 50-50, normal. But then if we are married and I have kids, I hope that you are able to take care of ourselves, of our family financially, and I don't have to be worried to go to work.
Now, I think from all three of your friends, the one that's saying, "Oh, I want 50-50," that's the one that's lying. Because the one I've never heard of a girl saying, "I want to bring in the most of the money." If she's saying, "I want to bring in most of the money," I kind of believe that. I kind of believe that. If she said, "I want to bring most of the money," I believe that. And then I kind of believe you just because you're saying, "Nah, I want you to take care of me." Like,
I 100% believe
yeah,
her.
I believe you.
Yeah.
But the friend in the middle that's saying 50-50, I don't believe her. I don't believe her.
And I want that when we are married. No, in a boyfriend and girlfriend. That I could be 50-50 or whatever. I don't care. But in a marriage, I hope that I can trust my husband too.
Now, real quick, do you notice a big difference on just simply how happy people are on a day-to-day basis between Colombia, the U.S., and France? Not necessarily their interactions with each other, but like even just them on a personal level, like how like they just people are walking around like just Debbie Downer or always like in a good mood and stuff like that. Is there a large difference between Colombia and the U.S. and France?
Yes, for me, yes, but for me, it's with the relationship with the others. In the States, for example, you are very independent and the houses are separate from each other and you don't know your neighbors. And if you have a problem, maybe you don't even have the number of your neighbor.
Yeah.
That in Colombia, for example, my neighbor has my keys and she asked me if she heard a loud noise or something like, are you okay? Or why did you get so late to your house? Everything. She's worried about me and take care of my house if I'm not here. And in France, I think they are like cold with the neighbors and they are not that happy.
Yeah.
Now, did you see a lot of because I know French, there's a stigma about it. Now I don't know how true this is because when I was from France, I'd never really noticed that. But there's a stigma that French dislike Americans a lot. Did you see a stigma of French disliking someone, I don't know,
No.
from South America?
No, I also went with that Sigma, but no, I think my theory is that they don't are most of the people they don't speak that English that well. So it's not that they don't like that people talking English to them, it's that they don't know how to communicate
They just don't
fluently
understand.
with the other people. Uh-huh. But with me, I didn't have any problem. All of the people were
Mhm.
great.
So you speak Spanish, English, French. I'm assuming, and you speak
Um,
anything else? Just those three.
I think no French, like no, at this level of English, like at this level of good English.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I
No,
mean,
French like
you
B1.
speak fine. I don't see what you were worried about. Like honestly, it's the first time
Fine,
I hear
thank
you
you.
speak. So
Fine. Yes, it's my
So
first
you've
time.
been learning in Spanish through Spanish. Like
yeah,
she
bro.
doesn't speak to you in English
No,
whatsoever.
she helped me say here and there. She'll say a word, what it means, or but like never full sentences.
Mm-hmm.
You've been doing a good job, by the
Uh-huh.
way. His Spanish is good. His
Thank
Spanish is
you.
good. I
So
see.
2 years.
I
It's time now. It's time.
Sounds like she's throwing a little shade.
She always does that shit, bro. She'll
No.
like
He's a
giving me
slow
homework.
he's a slow learner, huh?
No, in the beginning she would be giving me homeworks and shit, and I was pretending I'm doing it for like first 6 months, and after that I was like, Valentine, I'm not gonna be doing no damn homeworks. This is just gonna be a conversation only.
Oh shit.
At the minute I start teaching Jay like something like theoretical or something in a PowerPoint, he's like, I lost him. He's like, Jay, focus, focus. No, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
No, Jay
He
don't
just wants
care
to
about.
talk.
No, Jay don't care about PowerPoint.
No, his Spanish is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty good. He's advanced
Thank
farther
you.
than his brother, so and that's a lot to say.
So Valentina, so you, from what I understand, you would come to United States, you would visit United States, you would vacation here, but you would never live here.
I don't think so. Or maybe
With a lot of money.
work for a lot of money or como short period of time, like
Okay.
4 months
So if you were to
or
pick,
something like that. But
if you were to pick, like what would you say? Number one country you would live in, and then the second country you would live in, and then the third country you would live in. What would be the list?
thinking in the States, Colombia and France.
Yeah.
France, Colombia, the States.
Not bad, huh?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I've never been to France, so I can't put that on my rating. But
Why France? Why
I would
France?
put-
What is attracting you to France? What is the
First, the money. Second, the quality of life and the quality of food and the geographic location. It's very Paris. It's
right in the middle?
like right in the middle, so I can go to UK, Italy,
That's cool. Yeah,
Germany,
yeah. I could see.
and very cheap,
Yeah,
and with a lot of, I can go in plane, bus, train, uh, like Uber, no Uber, but something like that.
got you.
It's very easy to travel in Europe
You
and
know,
very cheap.
I asked you the reason I asked you earlier about the like how happy people are between the three places. It's because that's something I noticed when I was in Colombia was how high everybody's mood was when you just even interacting with strangers and
Mm-hmm.
how willing they are to spread information and deal with foreigners and stuff like that. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's that to me attracted me a lot was the people. The people in
Mm-hmm.
Colombia were amazing. You know, like it felt you felt like you could have a conversation with anybody, um,
And it's genuine.
and it's genuine.
We are
Yeah,
genuine.
yeah. And it was
In
weird though,
France,
like
for example.
the even sometimes like you would get into a Uber in Colombia. I would get into an Uber in Colombia, and the guy didn't at first seem like the most friendly, talkative dude, but then you would have a full conversation with them, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone is so friendly and nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think in France, for example, maybe they are not so open with the strangers, not the extranjeros, ¿cómo se dice? Extranjeros,
Yeah, strangers.
for
Yeah, yeah.
foreigners.
Foreigners.
Okay.
Um, they are like more with the same social.
A little more
So,
close together in a
mm-hmm.
social close
Mm-hmm.
knit community in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Europeans seem to be like that a little bit all over the place, right? Like a little
Yeah.
more. You stay with you, I stay with me, kind of thing.
Yeah, but I think it's just
Mm-hmm.
a human thing, right? Like if you're part of my tribe, they're easier to open up to you until you become part of someone's tribe, and for you to do that, like you have to create rapport, and to create rapport, it's
You
usually
know
it's
what
a
it's.
smile and open
You
hand,
know what I
right?
think it is. A lot of times, it depends on the past history of that person. It's a lot of times what makes them easy to open up or not, right? Like if in the past people have had problems with others being backstabbing and stuff like that, they're gonna have friendship or what you like, kind of like how you guys say have daddy issues and stuff like that. Like they're gonna have issues with trusting other friends in the future, kind of thing. And people are assholes in America.
Yeah,
Like
well,
it just
Mm-hmm.
no, I mean I don't think people see
that
this
like
is
this is the thing, right? Like you know how like in a lot of parts in Asia and stuff like that, the idea of honor is such a big thing, and like
yeah,
living up to your family
yeah.
name and stuff like that. Like that's not as prominent here.
It's not, no. Well, the reason it's not, I don't think, is prominent is because I think the structure of the United States, the way we have, because the minute someone turns 18, which has been proven wrong within the past couple of years with COVID, the minute someone turned 18 prior to COVID, they were pretty much out of the house, living on their own, getting their own house, getting their own place, and just kind of doing things on their own, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where in the rest of the world, it's a little bit not as such, right? Like the Western world is that, but like Colombia, people still kind of live with their parents, or they're really super close to their parents. In let's say Lithuania is similar, in Armenia is similar, but then you go to Western world, things start changing, and when things start changing, you don't have that like that they say, but people say, oh, family is number one, number one, number one, but it becomes, it goes on a back burner,
Right.
right? Because you don't have the day-to-day connection with your family members. You don't see it anymore, so it changes, obviously. You know
I
what I
get what
mean?
you're saying.
But I don't think people in the United States are assholes. I really don't think they are. I think majority of people in the United States are nice, as long as they don't like have to do something that's going against their wants and needs. They're nice. It's when it's against their wants and needs, that's when they can get like, I'm not doing shit for you just because it's against my wants and needs. You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? Because
But I feel like across the world, it seems to me that people are a lot more open to interaction than in the U.S. And it's like, for example, like when I was younger, I used to think that stigma was like specifically for those like really populated areas, like you know, the New York has that stigma, right? Like everyone's
or
on
just
their
like
on
running
business,
on their thing.
tunnel
Yeah,
vision.
yeah.
No one wants to be distracted. Everyone's like being
The New
rude to
York
each
minute,
other,
because it's
right?
mm-hmm.
So that to me feels like it's been spreading a lot more ravenous in the United States.
Well,
And it's
yeah.
a lot more normal in places like even here in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, because you gotta understand now that the newer generation and with COVID happening, how do people communicate? How are they communicating? This,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
like,
But I feel like it's weird though. I find it weird that this is what's contributed to what I would consider people not having fucking manners. Like for example, the other day we were at Tampa Outlet. Right? This is just reminding me of this. And we're inside the Coach store. Rodolfo bought a new wallet. I was looking at getting a fanny pack. I almost got it. It had a really good deal. There's this guy in there, and he was being really nice to the Coach lady, talking with her and stuff. He was from Panama, I think it was, or one of those Caribbean states, the Bahamas or something like that, right? Oh yeah, I'm from there, blah blah.
Cayman Islands.
Something like that.
It was like that. It was the big black dude.
Yeah, well he was with
tax
he was with
shelters?
two guys.
One of the tax
The two-
shelters.
Bro, so
He
this
said some
guy,
out of
I'm
pocket
standing
shit.
there, look at the bag, and when I turn around and I'm talking to Emily, she's across like this rack or whatever, and the guy's right in front of me, like literally closer than kind of the me and you are right now, and he's talking to the girl, and I guess he had two pairs of glasses or something, and he puts both of his pairs on this rack, and when he picks one up, one of them falls over, and it fell right in front of me. I picked it up, I handed it to him. Bro, like he snatched it out of my hand and kept talking with the girl like nothing happened. And I looked at him, I was like, "You're welcome." And I don't think he noticed because I kind of said it under my breath. But like, dude, like that to me was just like, you can't even utter a, "Oh, thank you, man." Like little things like that.
See, that's the
little
thing. You should
little
never picked it up for him.
little things like I get it. In my head, I was like, I get it. There's a sense it's like I shouldn't expect anything because he didn't expect me to pick it up. So why should I expect him to say thank you? But those are little things to me that make quality.
Yeah, but which I think because see in Lithuania, when I was in Lithuania, you know, I sat at the restaurant. I came to the restaurant, sat on my own, and the girl came over, and she's like, "Hello," and my first thing was, "Hello, how are you doing?" And I'm looking at her. I said, "How are you doing?" I'm looking at her. She was taken back by it. It's like, "What do you mean, how I'm doing?" Like she didn't expect me asking her how she's doing. I was like, "Yeah, how are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm doing okay." And then she immediately started smiling. At first, she came in with this straight face, and another asshole I need to take care of. It's late at night, blah blah blah. But then smile on her face. I was like, "Hi, thank you, this and that." I just think it's just the way people are. Like here in the
Certain
United
people
States,
are used to others being so bland and blunt and not really giving a fuck.
correct,
about
because
the
it's like a
others.
normal. Like, because for the longest time when I came to United
To
States,
them, that's normal interaction.
yeah, for the longest time when I came to United States, people would tell me smile more, and my question would be, what am I supposed to smile at? Like, and I would really get like upset. It's like, am I not understanding something? Did you guys say something funny I was supposed to understand and smile and laugh about it, which I don't? And they're like, no, just smiling is just like more inviting, this and that. I'm like, I was like, I don't understand that. Like, I smile because something is funny. I don't just smile to smile. Right? I couldn't get that. You know.
I think it's about like, for example, one of the biggest things that humans do across the world. Maybe it's not as regular everywhere. When you meet someone new and you want to show like, "Hey, I'm friendly," it's like when you match those eyes, you let a little grin.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just like, hi, acknowledging. And then it kind of like relates to, I saw this thing the other day, how, you know, when guys are meeting each other, like, for example, if it's someone that you know and you say, "Oh, what's up, bro?" But then if it's someone you don't know and you're just acknowledging the dude, you usually don't smile at a guy,
Yeah.
right? You won't be like, A woman you'd probably smile to. A guy, you go like this. And some girl was trying to attribute to like, "Oh, you exposing your jugular to people you don't know." I don't really think it's that deep.
Well, I think
it's more of a attribution of the way, the sign of acknowledgement.
yeah, because I know, like, you know, in a monkey world, when they show teeth, that's sign of like you're stronger than I am. And since a lot of people saying we've evolved from monkeys, that could have something stayed from those times where you're like, "Hey, I'm showing you my teeth." I don't know, but there's something about it.
So
you
the
know.
monkeys show their teeth when they know the other person is
Yeah.
stronger, kind of like a bow down.
Yeah, kind of down, bow down.
Okay.
But they're not dangerous, you know. Like,
I don't know.
It's a
I can acknowledge the fact that it's a little weird to have expectations of other people, right? Like we talk about how that's one of the things that. can
nah,
put
you should
down
definitely
low.
have fucking expectations of other people. You should because everyone should follow their role. There's no such thing as like see. This is the best way I can describe this. Kind of like game of chess, right? Game of chess has its own rules within the game of chess. and then you can use those rules to play game of chess the way you want to play it. But those are the rules. So if the queen can walk this way, the queen can only walk this way. But it's up to you to walk it 2 little units or 3 units or go all the way out, right? You know what the rules are. So life is this box of rules. You know what the rules are, and you play within those rules. When people try to break these rules, that's when it becomes a problem for me. When they try to break this, go ahead.
I think that it depends in the culture, because here in Colombia we tend to be very welcoming, more with the people from us. But for example, someone told me in France, because I usually smile a lot. Someone told me no, in France no, because there are people from all over the world. For example, Muslim and something like that. They can take my smile like an invitation to come over to talk to me, and I don't want that, really.
So you mean like
more
a guy,
I'm like more
a guy can
poker
take that,
face.
yeah, can take that as an invitation.
Like
yeah. No, I totally understand that. But what I'm saying is like there are rules, like exactly. Thanks for
manners.
No, that's actually exactly proving my point. So there are these rules. In Colombia, you can smile and that's okay. But then when you're in France and you don't want this attention, then you don't smile. So you know the rules and it's up to you to play within those rules. You know what I mean? The problem that I have in a lot of times with people is when they have the rules, they know what the rules are. They know there's nothing they can do about the rules. Those are the rules. And they sit there and complain about the rules. You complain all you want. Those are the rules. Sorry. Like, I don't like the rules, but I have to play by the rules. But anyway, so the point here is that, I like Colombia. Colombia is cheap. No. Colombia is cheap. It's easy to navigate. It's not very big. There's not a lot of places you can go if you don't have a car. You can just wander around a couple of streets, and that's the end of that.
Get your experience.
Food is really
and
good.
the first time that you came here was with those stereotypes for the woman. Or why did you
First time when we came to Colombia, was it with the stereotypes of women? No, first time we came to Colombia was with an idea that actually I did a little bit of research and I was like, because it was supposed to be a bachelor party, right? Party cities of the world. So I did research, and then the party cities of the world came Mykonos, Greece, Singapore. Then it was Vegas, Medellin, Colombia, and New Orleans.
Okay.
Because Vegas and New Orleans would have cost everyone 2 times more than going to Colombia. I picked Colombia.
That's the cheapest vacation I've ever been on, and it's one of the best vacations I've ever been on.
Yeah, this is the reason why I picked Colombia, because I knew there was a group of people that going of all ages
Colombia
from 19 all the way to 65.
Yeah,
and I knew that not everyone could afford dropping big money like going to Las Vegas and things like that.
Or Greece,
or Greece, or even Singapore. So that's why I was Colombia, it's cheap.
In reality,
it's easy, quick.
Colombia costs me less than $400 to get out there with hotel.
Yeah.
With hotel.
The trip, the hotel, the food, the parties, the everything.
Wow.
Yeah, so the Vegas,
and for you,
that would have been just a flight to Vegas.
For $400, for 100 or for 1,000?
400.
How much is that for you? Like a lot, like 15 days of work.
If you're saying you have a $400 and you got a flight and hotel for 6 days, right? 6 days we were there. That's very cheap. Very,
and
very
that's
cheap.
Including basically food and drinks and things like that.
These guys. Question: why do you think that is? It's a little off topic, but it reminds me of this because me and Rodolfo were talking about this the other day. That in Colombia, you guys to be 100% a parent wouldn't let me and Rodolfo pay for shit if we had the chance, right? You guys were looking at us as like the little brothers children, that you guys are just bringing along, and we were like, "Yo, we'll pay," and like, "No, you guys aren't. You guys wouldn't let us." Literally, we were like like where you guys are sending money to Aussie or whoever it was for the bottles the night before or the club, whatever. Like, you guys would literally wouldn't let us pitch in. Like, oh, how much we send you? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And it was like that. Why do you think that there's that culture behind that? Because it's like, you know, you have that with your relationship with your females, right? Like with your girl, right? When you go out with your girl to a restaurant, the stigma's there of like the men pay, right? But there's not really a stigma around friends paying for each other. No, but it happens a lot.
So here's it does. So I think what happens is within a tribe you have the within a tribe there's a hierarchy, right? And you kind of know who falls where within the tribe. And you also know that as times go, these roles change.
Yes.
So
because people evolve.
At that time in life, we knew that you were guys younger. We knew you might not have had the funds, even though if you did have the funds, we knew you might not have had the funds.
And
but
even,
we also knew.
And another thing is like you guys know that even if we have the 500 or the 1,000 or the 1,500, the comparable amount of what that means to us is a lot more than what it means to you guys.
Yes.
In a sense.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And within your tribe, you like to protect and provide for the ones that you love. So that's exactly what happened. There was a group of friends, and this group of friends, some were doing really well, some were doing okay, some were doing not so great. This was a group of friends, and no one cared about the socioeconomic status of these people.
Yeah.
They were all together at one time, and they were all having fun. And by knowing this situation, and they all went out together, and we're like, okay, well, we're going to have fun. And it didn't really matter what it's going to cost, right? And it didn't cost shit, really.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things,
yeah.
Like comparable to how much fun we had there, if we tried to do the same stuff in the U.S., we would need like 4 times, 5 times the amount of money.
For one day.
For like 3 days, yeah. Like
so, as I said, like a lot of people...
What did you do when you came to Medellin?
Party.
With Eddie.
Party.
and then Jeddah in the...
Yeah, we're going out every night.
Party.
We're going out every night.
We went
food and nightclubs every night.
At the time, me and Rodolfo were in school, and the day that you guys went to the Big Rock, what's it called?
Yeah, El Peñol.
El Peñol.
Yeah, when they went, we had to stay back because we had school work to do. So while they were over there, we were writing essays in the hotel room.
And you were asking why you can't pay.
And then we went. What else stuff did we do? Like, another day we went like another.
We did the Comuna 13.
Right there, you go. That's what it was.
Comuna 13, and then the next day we had to go to El Peñol, and then the day after that.
And did you climb the stairs?
We did. They did. Yeah, we did the one bus that took us to that peak at nighttime.
Yeah. Then we did the Chiva.
Yeah.
We rented a Chiva to Mirador.
Okay. Yeah, Mirador, that's what it's called?
Yeah, Mirador.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We went there and a bunch of partying.
Music and drinks and a bunch of partying.
You can tell there was way too much alcohol in my system. I can barely remember anything.
Yeah.
We counted at the end of the trip like how many bottles and like around. It's like over 60 bottles.
Yeah.
60 bottles of alcohol during that trip.
Of what? Guaro?
Whiskey mostly, Buchanan.
Whiskey, Buchanan, or Buchanan. Majority of it was whiskey.
But you tried Guaro, Eddie. Did you try
all of us
Aguardiente?
Aguardiente.
I think I did. I don't remember.
It's the anise drink.
I remember. Yeah. Oh, the anise or the one. Yeah. Oh, no, I hate it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I like Guaro.
Your guys is the rum.
I really like Guaro.
The rum is pretty good. Your guys' rum.
I don't like rum. I
like rum. No. That's what I can sip on. The rum was pretty good. It's not like Dominican rum.
Can you believe this? This girl came out with us, with Mauricio, when we went there. She came out and met us. She didn't have a single drink. Nothing. Because...
Tell them why.
Because of the boy she was dating from Greece would not let her
No. It was because I have an infection in my wisdom teeth, and I was taking antibiotics.
Yeah, but that was like a week before.
2 weeks, Jay. 2 weeks. 2 weeks of antibiotics.
She said, "Jay, stop talking shit."
That was the end of the week too.
It was the end of the week, but I wanted to take care of
it. Was the end of the week too. She was taking antibiotics.
You talking shit, Jay.
Nah, bro,
that's what I already know.
No, that wasn't time you were taking antibiotics. No, that was.
Yes, I was taking antibiotics.
No, your tooth got bigger afterwards. Afterwards, we were having classes. You had this tooth this big.
You talking shit,
Okay.
Jay. You talking shit.
Maybe.
All right, we're past
That's
our 2-hour mark. Let's wrap it up, guys.
Yeah, guys. So
Yes.
what we're gonna do? We're gonna add Valentina's. Hey, can you add Miggy?
We'll add it to the stream of the title. Or
Yeah,
title stream,
we're gonna
so to
add.
speak.
We're gonna add Valentina at the stream, guys. Please
Yeah,
go
we'll
like
put
and
her there.
subscribe to her. To her
Nice
channel.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. We've heard a lot. We've heard a lot about you. Finally, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Cool.
It's happy to have you
All
on.
right,
We'll do this
Valentina.
again.